Tonight on Garbage Time Fantasy Football, we got the Week 18 preview show. It's time for Garbage Time. Welcome into Garbage Time Fantasy Football. I'm your host, Ron Seymour, joined today by the one fake honey badger, Joe McCann. How you doing today, Joe?
You were like 1 second from fucking that intro up again.
Oh, yeah. It's been a little bit since I've actually hosted one.
What's going on?
We've been going back and forth with it here, and it's been you the last couple times.
Yeah, workhorsing like normal.
Yeah. Someone's got to keep the show running.
Not getting paid for it either.
Well, yeah. You will when I do. So never. So today on Garbage Time Fantasy Football, we're going to do the Week 18 preview show. We got our Defensive Dominator. We've got our DFS lineups. And we've got the news.
We do. All of it.
All of it. So let's see what's coming up with the news.
News updates.
All right, so as stated on Tuesday, for all you weirdos playing your championships in Week 18, which I highly advise against, Joe Burrow is expected out for Week 18. What are your thoughts on this for the weirdos in the Garbage Time Fantasy Football podcast community? And what are they going to do with Joe Burrow out this week?
Well, hopefully the heckling fandom was smart and they didn't play Week 18, but if they did, then hopefully they were smart enough to have a decent backup quarterback for this purpose alone.
Trey Lance.
Maybe. He might not even start.
Garoppolo. Edwards-Helaire is expected to be out this week too. Do you have a lot of confidence in Darrell Williams behind him?
Yeah, Darrell Williams has played well when Clyde Edwards-Helaire hasn't been in there, so I think that's a pretty decent start. I'm pretty sure the Chiefs are still playing for seeding, so I know the AFC is really close right now for the number one spot. No one has locked it up yet.
Tennessee holds their own fate, and there's many things behind them.
Yeah, I think if Tennessee wins, that locks it up instantly, but if they lose, then there's 3 other teams that have a chance of getting it.
That would be – no, I believe it's only 2, and I believe – well, no, the Patriots could potentially get it. It would be the Patriots, the Bills, and the Chiefs. I believe are the only ones that can fall into those slots.
Yeah, so I think there's 3 of them, and it all depends on – the Titans have to lose first, but they're playing Houston, so that probably won't happen.
Who would you start this week? Would you start Williams, or would you start Ramondre Stevenson?
Williams, as long as what's Ramondre Stevenson's running mate there?
Harris.
If Harris is in, then I would start Williams because Williams is probably going to be the bell cow, whereas Harris and Ramondre split reps when they're both available.
All right, and DeAndre Swift is expected to not have a very large role again this week. He is going to be on very limited snaps. They want to keep him healthy for next year. So obviously, is this a pivot for fantasy owners playing in Week 18?
Yeah, I would assume so. And if you're in the championship, you probably didn't get there with DeAndre Swift anyways. So you should be pretty well off if you don't have DeAndre Swift.
Okay, and the Bucs have finally waived Antonio Brown. Is anyone picking him up in the playoffs, you think?
I doubt it. I mean, people are going to want to see how this whole situation plays out. He released a statement saying one thing. The Bucs obviously said another. Who knows, I guess. Antonio Brown did release some messages of him and someone from the Bucs organization. I think it was Bruce Arians, stating that he would play if they really needed him, but he wasn't fully back yet.
I also just read on Barstools too. He's in some more heat now too because he snuck in OnlyFans girl into his hotel room during the hotel protocol for the Jets game. So that's interesting too. So if you'd like to go see his text messages online, they are out there too. His life is Always on a freeway. So
Yep.
Always interesting when Antonio Brown run. Robbie Anderson is also sidelined for Thursday's practice. Don't expect him to play. He's not relevant to fantasy football anyway. So complete slide away there. A little bit of interesting news came out yesterday, and I thought this was interesting because Calvin Ridley could be looking for a fresh start with the Atlanta Falcons, and that came on NFL Network. And I believe both sides have interest in moving on with this. The Jets have been linked to him among many teams in the league because who wouldn't want Calvin Ridley should he be in the right state of mind? What's your thought about this long-term for fantasy football, specifically for redraft and dynasty?
I don't understand. Well, first off, I'm going to say I don't understand like what is happening. I wish I knew more of the behind the scenes because, you know, why would the Atlanta Falcons want to get rid of a 27-year-old budding superstar wide receiver?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know what the deal is there. But for fantasy, I mean, I think going to the Jets isn't the worst place. He'll definitely be the number one, and he'll have a solid number two with Elijah Moore there, and you know, a good competent number three with Corey Davis.
And let me just say, if it is mental illness issues, we dealt with this a few years ago. Back in 2015, Brandon Marshall was dealing with mental illness issues, which he addressed. And he had a stellar season for us, 1,500 yards, and it's the best receiving season a wide receiver's ever had for the Jets. So it's not like it's unstated. People who have issues can come to New York and play well. So I would love it on the Jets. I don't necessarily know if that's going to happen. It's still a very long shot, but I think for fantasy football, it wouldn't be bad. Zach Wilson can throw it down the field, and Calvin Ridley is a fantastic player. We're just surmising, obviously, but we're heading towards the offseason, so this is what you do in the offseason.
There's a lot of surmising in the offseason.
He's decent in Atlanta. Should he come back there? He's decent anywhere you put him. He's a number one wide receiver no matter where he's going across the league. He's fantastic. Yep. He's talented, and he makes any quarterback instantly better.
Yeah, I agree with all that. As far as like dynasty, if you can buy him right now at a cheaper price due to the fact that, you know, he might not come back, and that's a very real possibility.
I sold him. Would you like to go over what I sold him for? JJ flip out.
Mac Jones and a first for him.
It was Mac Jones, Calvin Ridley, and a dynasty first in 2023 for Zeke and Zach Wilson.
Yep.
Which JJ offered me Najee Harris in a second for it was Calvin Ridley and another piece, and I refused to trade. I believe it was Saquon and Ridley. But I didn't want to be down one running back and just be status quo there. I wanted to add another one to my roster, so that's why I took the trade, and it ended up to a heated discussion in the chat, which I'm sure will be evaluated later on in the league.
To be fair, when you do trades, you are 100% trying to overvalue all of your guys and undervalue everyone else's guys.
Well, I definitely try to use car salesman, everyone, but that's what I do. I go way into left field. And then there's something that I don't expect you to do. No, I do not stay there. I come
stay
back
there.
No, you just don't. You don't negotiate at all. You do not negotiate at all. You don't bring back any offer. You go back to your original offer and then throw it away like a baby because you don't want to negotiate.
No.
Yeah,
that's not true.
All right, on to our nice little bit of news. Michael Carter is back practicing non-contact right now, but he is on pace to play, which is interesting against the Bills game. What's your thoughts on this?
I'm sorry, if you're not in the playoffs and you have players that are even slightly injured, don't play them. Don't play them. No, I'm talking about like real NFL teams. Like, don't play your slightly injured players if you literally have nothing to play for. What is the point?
They may play him, though.
Yeah, they may because they're dumb, but Michael Carter against the Bills is probably not the best fantasy football opportunity either.
Elijah Moore also practiced, also probably on pace to play again this week. What's your thoughts on him going up against the Bills?
Same thing. He might be a better play for fantasy, but I still think they should just rest him.
Okay. Justin Fields also on the COVID list, so he is not going to be a viable starter for you this week. It looks like he's going to be out, being on the COVID list this late in the week. Give us some pivot options for him.
Well, hopefully you already have a decent pivot option on your team. I mean, obviously, if you're in the championship, you probably didn't get there using Justin Fields. But unfortunately, if you have Justin Fields and Joe Burrow, you're now down 2 players. I mean, Zach Wilson has been playing well. He's got a tough matchup this week.
There's a certain Saints hybrid you could probably play this week against Atlanta.
Taysom Hill, maybe, yeah, if he's available. But he might not be. At this point, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel because you shouldn't be playing championship games in Week 18.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. I'm definitely not starting anyone on the Giants, that's for sure. Deontay Johnson also on the COVID list, out. He is not an option for you. James Conner was limited in practice. Could play this week because Chase Edmonds has 2 new injuries that came up on the report late in the week, and that is not good. So he could be in for a lot of work this week. Should he be back? Rondale Moore also is hurt, so keep that in mind. Cam Akers is full speed and flying around on the field. Take this report for what it is. I don't believe he plays this week. They're going to get him healthy for the playoffs. What's your thoughts on Cam Akers for the week?
Same thing. Even if he plays this week, he's going to get, 3 to 5 snaps. They're going to get him out there, let him run a little bit, test the ankle, Achilles, whatever, same thing. Let him test it, see how he looks. They're not going to bring him right back off an Achilles injury and put him out there for 20 opportunities.
JJ, this is an open invitation. If Cam Akers is activated this week, I will take the apology bet again. 5 carries or under. So should he play, if you'd like to go forward with that bet, I am more than happy to continue with that apology bet. Not in the playoffs, though, because he will get a lot of carries in the playoffs because it really counts then.
If he doesn't re-aggravate it.
That's true. Damian Harris was also limited in practice. I wanted to bring this up because Ramondre Stevenson, should he get the start, is in a pretty good matchup against Miami, yes. I believe, this week. Darren Waller was limited in practice, but there's no damn reason that they're not going to play him this week. They're playing for their playoff lives this week. I am 100% expecting to play against the Chargers this week.
It's them and Chargers, right? Yeah, and they're both win and get in.
But as we interestingly pointed out earlier in the week in our chat, if they both tied and was it Indy lost, both would get in and Indy would be out. So they went to the middle of the field, shook hands, and decided not to do shit this entire game. They'd both get in.
God, that'd be such a sight to see.
Like I said, the NFL would ban both of them for being in the playoffs, and they'd bring the next 2 lowest seeds in if that happened.
You feel like they'd have to.
It would just be evil. It's something the Patriots would do. All right, Keyshawn Vaughn is a full practice too, so this is a full pivot from the waiver show when I said Le'Veon Bell was the play. This week, Keyshawn Vaughn, should he play, is the starter. Interestingly enough, I wanted to bring this up. Giovanni Bernard has been seen practicing too, and I think if Giovanni Bernard gets on the field too, he gets more passing work than Keyshawn Vaughn in this game and could actually be a cheap, relevant player if he gets on the field, and I think the Bucs would want to test him. What's your thoughts on this line of running backs this week for the Bucs?
I kind of want to full fade it. If I was playing any matchups this week, I would full fade that because it could be a 3-way timeshare if with Bell, Giovanni Bernard, and Keyshawn Vaughn.
Okay. Jared Cook is also off the COVID list, so if you're scrambling for a tight end, he's potentially there. Always a touchdown threat every week, like any tight end. And Jimmy G is limited in practice. I honestly am 50-50 on who's going to start this week. I have put Trey Lance in some DFS lineups early, but that may be a pivot for the simple reason they may look for the veteran to get into the playoffs. They're playing against the Rams. It's going to be a hard opponent for a rookie. We'll see what happens. What's your thoughts on it? Who's going to start for them, and are they relevant for fantasy football this week?
I'm sorry, I was looking at the playoff thing. Who are we talking about?
Jimmy G.
I don't know. Jimmy G's been, like you said, he's been throwing the ball. They say he looks good. I mean, they are playing for a spot. Mm-hmm. They need to win. They're win and get in type of thing.
Not necessarily. If the Saints lose, they're still in.
Well, yeah, but win and get in. That's essentially what it is.
Yeah, you control your own destiny and don't need help.
Yeah.
Is he a decent pivot, though, if, you had, so say he started in, you had Fields and Burrow and they're both out and you need to get a guy, is this the decision you're looking at, or are you looking at someone like a Taysom Hill instead?
Well, I think the problem is on your waiver wire, Garoppolo and Trey Lance are probably neither one of them are there.
Or your opponent might scoop them on you.
Yeah. Or you might take the shot and your opponent takes the other shot, and like one of you has to be wrong.
Would you ride the Heineke train against the Giants?
No.
Really?
No. I don't know if the Washington football team plays all its starters. They got nothing to play for.
I believe they will. It's still a divisional opponent. I think they want to prove something.
Yeah. I hope the Giants don't play all their guys.
Yep. And as stated earlier in the week, Aaron Rodgers may not play the entire game too. So consider that when talking about your starters. Even Devontae Adams said he's not expecting to play the whole game. But
Aaron Jones, I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon only play a little bit and they go to Kylan Hill.
Yeah. It would be a full fade for me on Packers players for the week, I think. Detroit players you can play because I think they can look to punch them in the mouths, and that's just kind of how they play. I'm expecting that to be on that side of the ball a full game. And actually, I think Detroit's going to upset them for the reason that all the starters are going to be out.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible.
Okay. I think you have any other news you'd want to get into?
Not that I can think of offhand. We'll bring it back up, though, if I think about it.
Last thing I wanted to mention is the NFL is also considering moving the Super Bowl because of strict protocol in California, too. There's discussion of them moving it away from LA. That's been on the underbars of the internet, so we'll see if that comes true or not. I wouldn't be too overly exacerbated over that, but we shall see.
I doubt it.
And guys, if you like what you hear on Garbage Time Fantasy Football, like and subscribe to the show. Listen to us on Apple, Google, Spotify, obviously here on YouTube as you're watching it, Iheartradio, Tunein, and many other places that you get your podcasts to. And go over to Apple and leave us a 5-star review, as Ron likes to say every damn week. You can also leave us voicemails at www.garbagetimeff.com and get the link to any show you want to watch there too. And also listen to Ryan's MMA show, whenever the hell they do episodes.
Yeah.
And I think with that, we're ready for game previews, right?
Oh, yeah. Let's get into those game previews.
All right, let's get into the awful Fantasy Bowl versus the Washington football game against your shitty Giants and hopefully Joe Judge's last game.
They said they're bringing him back. We'll see what happens.
Oh, God.
You were talking about it. John Harbaugh was Jim.
Yeah,
John?
Jim.
One of those Harbaughs, the one that's not already on a team, has been linked to possibly going there if there's an opening.
Jimmy Baker Mayfield.
Why do you gotta say these things to me?
Hey, it's just the internet, man. It's just rumors right now until free agency starts.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be too upset about it. He's always, I mean, he's proven winner in the NFL and in college. Like, I don't know what happened between him and the 49ers all those years ago, but he did use Colin Kaepernick to go to a Super Bowl. So
maybe
he could help Danny Dimes.
Maybe he'll be in Chicago.
Maybe he'll be in Chicago helping Justin Fields.
Anyway, talk about that shitty fantasy game.
Again, I'd be struggling starting anybody because I don't know if either of these teams are going to play. First off, I don't know how hard either team is going to play. Yes, it's a divisional game, but nobody's going to want to go out there and get injured in Week 18 with nothing on the line.
Saquon playable?
No. I honestly would full fade anyone from this team because I don't believe. First off, the Giants' offense is shit.
It's real shit.
It's real shit, and like it was okay really with Danny Dimes under center. It wasn't like unstoppable, high powered or anything like that, but it was a lot better than what it has been now. We got Jake Fromm starting, which I still think is an improvement over Mike Glennon.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm full fade for anybody.
What about Jared Patterson for the Redskins, who's played the last few weeks, and they may be looking to get him on the field to see what he does?
I mean, maybe if you want to take a chance.
All right, maybe a DFS throw up the dart this week. So let's move away from that garbage. Chiefs and Broncos. Give us a lowdown on this game.
Chiefs and Broncos. Like I said, the Chiefs are definitely going to play because they have a chance to get that number 1 seed, and they're definitely going to go for it.
So Williams, Mahomes, Tyreek, Kelsey, obviously are the ones you play. What about Pringle?
No, I don't trust anybody for the second string.
Are you a Noah Fantastic fan this week?
Nope.
Why not? He had a good week last week.
Just because he had a good week last week doesn't mean he'll have a good week this week.
All right.
You don't want to get caught in the trap of chasing last week's points.
Even at the tight end position?
Even at the tight end, especially at the tight end position. Like, You don't want to get into that trap.
And the running backs are playable in this game because the Broncos will try to control the clock?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Cowboys, Eagles. Lowdown. I imagine all the Cowboys players will be playing this week?
They should. I don't really
I believe they're still playing for seeding, so I see them playing.
Yeah, it looks like they're 11-5. The Cardinals are 11-5. So they definitely are going to want to win, so they'll probably play. But if they do end up getting a big lead on the Eagles, I don't believe that they will keep their guys in. If they get up real big on the Eagles, which I don't believe will happen anyways, but
I think they'll still be fantasy relevant, though. Most of the players will think they have a big lead on it, so I would still play them.
Yeah, no, definitely still play your Cowboys people. They definitely still have something they're playing for.
So Zeke, Pollard, all the wide receivers there too?
Yep, same with the Eagles. Anybody who would normally play on the Eagles, you're going to want to play because, first off, Micah Parsons is out, and which sucks because he could have broke the rookie sack record. And
here's something interesting about that, though. The Eagles are already slotted in their spot, and they're really not playing for anything, though. Any chance they rest all their players?
No, because they'll want to hopefully spoil the Eagles.
You mean the Cowboys?
The Cowboys, yeah. Because as it stands right now, they're not going to want to have any potential of possibly playing the Eagles again. If the Rams lose and the Cowboys win, they'll both be 12-4. I don't know where that would put the Cowboys, but if it knocks them up to the number 2 seed, then the Eagles would just have to turn around and play them again next week. And that is not something they want to do.
Right. Do you see Cedric Wilson as a good value in this game? Should the Cowboys play the full game? Because I imagine they would rest their starters, but they got to play someone in this game. Do you see him as someone that will play in the full game?
Yeah, I think he'll be all right. I think the Eagles will put up a decent fight. I do think the Cowboys will win it. They just have the more explosive offense. But I think the Eagles will keep it close enough to where the Eagles will have to play, so the Cowboys will have to keep putting up points so Cedric Wilson could get, even if he gets 3 for 50 and a touchdown, it's good for a flex.
God, why the fuck play in Week 18? This sucks. Next game, Bengals and Browns. All right, so the Bengals are looking at a full fade on most of their players here. One interesting one I want to bring up, though, is Samaje Perine. So obviously Mixon is on COVID list. He's not playing this weekend, but that means Joe Burrow is not going to be playing either. They do have to play a running back. Do you like Samaje Perine, or do you think they're going to go deeper on the committee?
They might start with Perine, but they might hit Chris Evans quite a bit to see what he is. They're 10-6. The Chiefs are 11-5. I don't think the Bengals can usurp the Chiefs. Oh, they did just beat the Chiefs, so yeah. I mean, they could go up to the 2 seed.
They're not playing them, though. As they've already stated, none of these players are playing.
Well,
they're happy slotted where they are.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, even for the backups, well, they're not playing Joe Burrow because, yeah, he's injured and they want to keep him healthy for the playoffs. Joe Mixon's on the COVID list. That's why he's not playing.
Correct.
So, the running backs, they might work in a healthy mix of Chris Evans and use Perine more in the passing game.
So these guys are more flex plays as of this week, then?
I would say flex with upside, yeah.
And what about their starting wide receivers? All 3 of them?
I mean, you have to play Chase. You have to. I know the Joe Burrow's not playing, but you kind of have to pay Chase. Not playing Higgins would be difficult too. But if you have a decent pivot away from Higgins, you probably should.
Okay, and what about CJ Uzama for people who are scraping the tight ends?
I wouldn't.
All right, and on the Brown side, is Kareem Hunt viable this week? He might play, considering he's coming back from injury. Their backup running back is also on the COVID list, and I don't know how they feel about giving Nick Chubb a ton of work this week. Thoughts on Kareem Hunt?
Yeah, I don't know. They could just go right to, is Dearness Johnson in?
No, he's the one on COVID list.
Oh.
Well, fuck.
Yeah. They almost might have to play Nick Chubb for a little bit.
And this right here is an example, guys, why you do not play fantasy championships in week 18. But we still have to go over with all of you guys because nobody listens, especially in the heckling fandom. And you're like, no, I protest. I am not going to listen to what you guys say. Go over week 18 because I need to win my championship.
No.
All right, so, yeah. Jarvis Landry?
No receiving option for the Browns.
Especially
I do think the Browns are still going to come out and try to win.
Keenum will try to win.
Yeah. So they'll probably still play Nick Chubb. They might do a little bit more timeshare between him and Kareem Hunt, though. But
Keenum on fantasy is Kareem. Oh my God! I get Case Keenum on fantasy radars right now.
No.
Okay, so full fade on pretty much all the Browns.
Yeah.
Okay, next game: Steelers Ravens. Any interest in anything here? Harris, obviously.
Najee Harris, obviously.
Deontay Johnson's on COVID list. Can't play him. So what about Claypool even healthy?
I believe
I don't even know if Claypool's healthy.
They're both playing for fantasy. I don't know exactly what they need, but I know they're both still right there. So they're definitely going to play all their players, and they're definitely going to be trying to win.
Big Ben viable in his very last game in football?
No, I don't think so.
Not against the Ravens. Probably going to get his ass whooped. That's my thought.
Maybe this Ravens secondary has been mostly shit.
So is he viable then?
No.
Okay. And who's going to start for the Ravens this weekend? Is it going to be Huntley or Lamar Jackson?
I think it's going to be Huntley again. Lamar Jackson has already missed 2 practices in a row.
Mm-hmm.
It's Thursday. He hasn't practiced yet. I would be shocked if he comes out there.
And the Ravens have been eliminated from the playoffs, correct?
No.
Where are they seated?
They're not seated yet. But right now, the people who are in the playoffs are the Colts and Chargers at 9-7.
Yep.
The Raiders are 9-7. And then the Steelers and Ravens are both. Steelers are 8-7-1. Ravens are 8-8.
So if that's the case, obviously the receivers are viable here for Baltimore.
Yes.
So you can play Hollywood Brown. You can play the pit trap that is that rookie there.
Rashad Bateman.
Yes, I call him the pit trap because I don't trust him. And then obviously you can start the number one tight on the year, Mark Andrews.
Yes.
Fantastic year. Holy shit, look who's back. Edward Davis. Finally, someone from the heckling fandom shows up. What's up, guys? I haven't been around in a while. No shit, Edward. We know you haven't been. Because I have been busy moving across the country. Hopefully,
he won his league champion. Way to go, Edward.
Holy shit, Edwards. What was the roster? We'd like to hear back.
I'm guessing it was because of us, totally.
Yeah, you're obviously giving us full credit, right, Edwards?
And what side of the country did you move to/from? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, and like the video from that state, get us across state lines.
Unless he came to our side.
Yeah, so obviously you're playing all your Ravens here. What about the running back situation? Are you playing any of those Ravens?
Oh, that's a hard one. Latavius Murray gets most of the goal line work.
Yeah.
I guess he would be the one I'd be most willing to start. Maybe
that's pretty
Freeman.
Gross.
Yeah, gross. I would rather not.
All of it's gross.
I'd rather not play any of them. All
right, let's move away from that mess then.
All right, sounds good.
Packers Alliance. Full fade on Packers. Full fade on Packers players. I'm not playing Packers players this week if you're playing in the discussing Week 18 championships. Do not play Packers players. Again, get your damn championship out of Week 18. Vote it out of your league. Don't do it. But we're still doing this for you. Lions players you can play this week, and I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is an excellent play for you this week.
Yep, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown and the running back Jamal Williams.
I say no, that is not, because in the news updates, they said that they were going to use him a lot last week, and they barely fucking used him.
That was DeAndre Swift.
And who did you just mention? I'm sorry.
Jamal Williams.
Yeah, you can play Jamal Williams. Yeah, definitely play Jamal Williams. I thought you said DeAndre
Swift. You were so happy to try to throw me under the bus there that you didn't even listen to me.
That's what we do on Garbage Time Fantasy, Will Ball. That's how you make it into the top 10 bad takes, which JJ said he will have out this week. We will see.
Yeah, hopefully.
Any other Lions?
No, I think it's just maybe that Craig Ferguson too. But I don't know, because DeAndre Swift will probably get some carries.
The biggest scorer, I believe, this week will be Amon-Ra St. Brown, though.
Right.
And like I said, I'm not playing any Packers. I understand they may play some of the game. They may play a lot of the game. I'm not playing any of them. You don't know how long it's going to last.
Yeah, I don't trust it.
They're slotted with the first week bye. Aaron Rodgers is going to get that toe healthy, full fade. Colts and Jags. The Colts are playing for stuff this week, so obviously our boy Jonathan Taylor's in for a good week, right?
Oh, he's going to feast. He's going to feast all over the Jaguars. It's going to be great.
So you moved from from warm weather to rain, moved from Virginia to Washington, unless you're talking about from Virginia to Washington, D.C. But I'm assuming you're talking about Washington State. Out here to see the Seahawks lay the smack down on the Lions live. It was always fun. Yeah, so the Seahawks absolutely murdered them last week, and actually that led me to putting Russell Wilson into my DFS lineup this week. We will get to that a little bit later here.
He likes to chase
Edward Davis. Yeah, I'm chasing the points. Anyway, Taylor, what about the wide receiver core for the Colts? You playing any of them?
Michael Pittman.
Wentz viable?
No, but he'll do enough to make Michael Pittman have a decent game.
Okay, and are you playing that funky-ass name from the Jags?
Dario Guboale? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
He'll get the volume.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, off of that alone, you could flex him.
Any Jags wide receivers viable?
No.
All right, next game then. We're just scrolling right through these. We're on number 8 already. Bears and Vikings. Mooney, obviously great this week, I think. Even with Andy Dalton in, that is a horrible secondary. Thoughts?
Neither one of these teams are playing for anything. Both their seasons are already over.
But Mooney's close to 1,000 yards. I think they're going to try to get him 1,000 yards.
I mean, the Bears and Vikings, they like to try to beat each other all the time, so they're definitely going to play. It's a similar situation. I don't know how hard they'll play, though, or if they'll play the whole game. Like, it's one of those situations where, like, you could see Justin Jefferson fall hard and not even really be injured, but they're just like, no, you're done.
Okay, so how do you feel about KJ Osborne then? Someone they may want to get more experience. These situations where they have nothing to play for, I don't like playing anybody, because anytime anybody even gets slightly injured, they could just shelf them the rest of the game. Oh boy, you're just full of doom and gloom this week.
Yeah, but that's how these games go, though. You see it every year. You see superstar running backs on these teams that have nothing to play for. They stub their toe on the bench and like, no, bud, sit down.
All right. Speaking of teams not playing for anything except for top draft picks right now, the Houston Texans. Any interest in Rex Burkhead this week going up against the Titans?
Yeah, he's getting the volume. The offense is actually playing decently.
With General Mills running it.
So
they dip their foot into the quarterback pool this offseason?
I don't think they do.
I don't think so either.
Unless they somehow get someone like really good for super cheap,
Huntley.
which I don't think will happen.
Huntley.
I mean, they could be a landing spot for Huntley, but I don't think Huntley wants to go there. Like,
I don't think anyone would want to go there.
Well, that's another thing. Like, I don't know how many people would want to go there. So I think they'll end up running with Davis Mills
and
next year.
Tyrod Taylor.
Maybe. I don't know. I think they'll run with Davis Mills. He showed enough to earn, I guess, that choice. If they were smart, they would take – I know they don't have a lot of draft capital, which is weird for a team that's this bad. Normally when teams are this bad, they have, like, extra pieces in the draft.
Well, that's because, their last head coach liked to play Madden and traded for veterans who were 30 years old.
Right.
And awful at the time. Oh, don't get me wrong. Cooks is not bad. He's early by a wide receiver. They got Kiko there. He's not bad. He's young, but
Nico?
Yeah, Nico, not Kiko. Nico, it's not bad, but he's young and experienced. Right. So you can play them. Mills, maybe viable if you need someone. Not my favorite play because it's just the Texans. The Titans players, they're playing for the number 1 seed. They're all playing this week.
Oh, they're all playing.
Minus Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is practicing. I don't think he will play this week. Do you think there's any chance he plays?
No, I think they'll try to save him this week. Deontay Foreman's been doing good enough. I think they'll save him this week, probably win the game, and then have another bye week.
Deontay Foreman's honestly giving them about 80% of the viability that Henry was giving them. He's playing fantastic.
Yeah, he's playing out of his mind. So I think they'll try to save Henry this week, have the bye week, and then bring him back for their first round of playoffs and just Yeti all over everybody.
A.J. Brown is a fantastic play this week, too, and a very sneaky play. Not only people are
I'm really hoping the AFC Championship is the Colts versus the Titans, just because to see Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry running back and forth would be phenomenal.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Personally, I like to see the Los Angeles Chargers get there. But this isn't very fantasy relevant right now, so let's move on to our next game. For some reason, there's 4 people in the chat room because I have no idea why they're listening to this shit. Anyway, Saints and Falcons.
Thank you. Thank you.
Whole 4 people. Holy crap.
Anyway, I'll take it.
Saints and Falcons. What is the fantasy viability of someone like Harris going up against this shitty Falcon secondary?
Harris?
Yes.
What are we talking about? Saints and Falcons? Oh, okay. Harris, yeah. You didn't give me any clues or anything. You didn't even give me position. I was drawing a blank for which team it was. I was thinking Falcons. I'm like, who the fuck?
You were completely in the dark about that when you're like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, I was lost, man. That was crazy.
Anyway, give us a synopsis. Are these Saints wide receivers viable against that awful Falcon secondary?
Someone's coming at me.
Do it.
Colts would shut Henry down. You're delusional. Maybe.
Yeah, he's definitely delusional.
I've seen very few people shut Henry down, but
no, he's definitely fucking delusional. Like and subscribe to the video and scream at Ron Moore. We like it.
You could scream at me via voicemail at www.garbagetimef.com too.
We'd like if you do that.
We like
voicemail. We'll play it live on the show for you.
Please.
Anyway, Taysom Hill, obviously viable this week.
Yes.
And how do we feel about Elvin the Beast Kamara playing this week as they're playing for their playoff lives?
You got to play him.
Tight ends for the Falcon?
For the Falcons? Kyle Pitts?
No, I'm saying the Falcon because I said for the Falcon because there's one viable player.
Because the Falcon. Yeah, even Cordero Patterson hasn't been viable lately. Yeah.
So no, for
the
Falcon, Kyle Pitts.
You play Kyle Pitts. Is Marshawn Lattimore healthy for the Saints?
I don't even know.
Because didn't they? I'm trying to remember. Didn't they eliminate him by putting Kyle Pitts by putting Marshawn Lattimore on him? Wasn't that one of his worst games of the year?
Yeah.
I wish I had more info on that right now, but I'm not.
It's almost like you could pull it up on the internet or something.
Jeez, that seems like a whole lot, though.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So, like we said, Alvin Kamara probably going to be one of the top running backs on the week as they're playing for their lives. You have any interest in any other players in this game?
You can take a shot at your choice of Saints wide receiver. The Falcons do not have a good pass defense, but it could be a lot of Alvin Kamara, so almost let's call your shot. Callaway probably would be your top choice, yeah.
Okay. Gage, you playing Cordell Patterson?
Man, I do not want to play Cordell Patterson. He could go crazy like he has been, but
MJ23
Titans Sunday
says Houston's going to be the Titans is going to beat the Titans Sunday, and the Chiefs will claim the number 1 seed. Well, I would not be shocked. Houston's given some weird games this week. They killed the Chargers. I disagree with that, but we will see. The Titans were the worst number 1 seed I've ever seen. Titans 13, the 13-3 Kerry Collins team, which was defeated by the Baltimore Ravens. I remember that game. That was a awful 13-3 team. The Titans just seem to back their asses up in the one seeds. Don't know how they do it, but over the years they have.
I feel like the MJ23 is a Colts fan.
You might be.
Just context clues.
Yeah. What's your favorite team, MJ23? Anyway, next game, Seahawks and Cardinals. Give us the fantasy lowdown on this game.
Seahawks and Cardinals. Man,
Russell Wilson's playable. Very playable, I think, in fact.
Seahawks are out of the playoffs. Cardinals are lobbying for position a little bit.
They're playing for their division. They're very viable this week. They're playing.
Oh, yeah.
They can win their division.
Well, they need the Rams.
Ram.
Yeah, the Rams need to lose. Yeah. So if the Rams lose, they
at the
can
same
win.
time, they're still playing.
Yeah. Eagles. Oh, wow. That was wild.
Jeez, no wonder why you're so jaded and angry. You're an Eagles fan.
Well, at least they made the playoffs. I think the Eagles might surprise people in the playoffs. I honestly do. I think they might be able to. I don't think they'll win it all. I don't think they're there yet.
Yeah, and I do kind of agree with Kirk Cousins as a dirt cheap DFS option at 6,100. I would not play Matt Ryan. F that.
Yeah, if those are the choice, I would go Kirk Cousins.
I will give you. Actually, we're gonna have a DFS segment here. We're getting into that shortly. We have just a few more games to go over. So as we said, obviously you're playing your Cardinals in this. Kirk Cousins, I think, is a decent play up against that secondary. I have no problem playing Kyler Murray. I believe the running back that's going to get the majority of the work this week is obviously not going to be the one that's hurt Chase Edmonds. It's going to be James Conner. Don't you like how I just faded that because I couldn't think of James Conner's name right away?
Yeah, I got you. I got it. Don't worry.
So James Conner is going to be a very good play this week. I think he gets the bell cow work as they're jockeying for position. DK Metcalf, obviously. Tyler Lockett. Any running backs you playing for the Seahawks? You playing Penny?
Yeah, Penny. Yep, only Penny. And I actually agree with what MJ23 is saying right here. Like, I think I think I said this on the last show.
Read it out for the audio listeners. Ron.
Oh, sorry. If Eagles can match versus Tampa, I think they would upset them, but Rams would murder us and Cowboys would. I agree. I said this, I want to say I said it Monday when we were doing it, that the Buccaneers, they're kind of doing the opposite of last year, where last year at the end of the year, they got healthy and went on the run. This year, it seems like they're getting injured and playing worse. So I definitely think the Eagles could beat them if matched up right.
Well, Sirianni likes to take his advice from the media and now runs the ball like 70% of the plays anyway, which is good play in the playoffs.
That's a solid strategy against Tom Brady.
It's good to run the ball.
And he's got 3 or 4 running backs that he can cycle through.
And for some reason, Tom Brady doesn't do well against the Eagles. So
yeah,
we'll see. All right, let's move on to our next game too, because I think we covered the Seahawks and Cardinals pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. The Jets and Bills. Let's just say your Bills are very viable this week. Singletary is going to have the game of his life, and I honestly believe that. He is in my DFS lineup as well. Singletary is going to kill us on the ground. Josh Allen is going to kill us on the ground. This could be a duo 100-yard rushing game for both of them. They're playing for the division. Obviously, your wide receiver for the Bills too are all viable. Oh God, this could get ugly. I understand we were close against the Bucs last week, but the defense is atrocious. So all your Bills wide receivers are viable in Week 18. Get rid of your championship week again in Week 18, but they are viable. The Jets players that are viable this week, Braxton Berrios, should he play, but he's injured, so keep watching that. There's rumor he may not play. Crowder might be coming back. I wouldn't play him. Should Edwards-Helaire play? I would play. Edward Davis says Bills by murder. Yeah, and by murder, it may be by 30. I don't see us upsetting them this week.
That one got me a little bit. Bills by murder. All I could think of is like Blitz League 2.
I love Blitz League 2. When you juice up your players, get them back on the field instantly. Didn't matter what the injury was. It was like rip testicles, get them back on the field. You remember that segment. Rip testicles, juiced, back on the field.
And they would show the X-ray
of them ripping out. Blitz League 2, great game. Load time, awful.
Yeah. They need to bring that game back.
Yeah, on the Jets side, I don't want to say Zach Wilson's viable. He's in a break glass case of emergency starter in this league. I mean, you might have to start him in week 18 due to the
there's two panes of glass. You break the first one, there's a note that's like, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
Yeah.
Then you're like, "Well, fine." Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot of starters. This is like a lower tier. He's like quarterback 20 on the week. Really look to go away from this. Honestly, I'm okay starting the rookie, Michael Carter. Should he start? I think he could get a lot of passing work should they fall behind in this game. But that's if he starts. You have to really keep an eye on the news going up to that game. If not, they're going to get that work involved with Tevin Coleman and their new guy that they brought in too. So, not a full fade on Jets players, but definitely monitor them.
The only problem is Zach Wilson doesn't throw to the running backs.
Oh, he has been actually. Carter had a decent week last time he played. No, early in the season he wasn't, but he's really starting to actually throw to them now.
Well, that's good. He needs to learn to do that more often.
All right. Panthers, Bucks. Don't start any fucking Panthers. No one.
Yeah.
Bucks players that are viable this week. Any names that you'd like to bring up, Ron? Maybe good DFS values?
Mike Evans, Gronk. Sneaky one might be Cameron Brate.
I was going to say Cyril Grayson.
I don't even know who that is.
He played pretty well for them. He had about 80 yards for him.
Yeah, I feel like it might be Tyler Johnson.
I think it'll be Cyril Grayson. You want to do an apology bet on it? More
No,
yards?
no.
You don't be a little whine ass. Do it.
I'm not being
Come on,
honest. I'm just saying no.
Take the challenge. You take
saying,
Tyler.
No means no,
Grayson.
Joe.
All right, yeah, it's kind of creepy now. I'm kind of moving on.
You just gotta creep them out. That's how you get to it.
Yeah, no apology bet now, I guess. So obviously, all your Bucks are playing in this game, and for some reason you like Tyler Johnson. You would play him as a third wide receiver maybe this week.
More like flex.
No, MJ23. I am not playing DJ Moore. I am feeding all of them.
I think DJ Moore is a great talent. I think he
not
has
this week. He isn't
phenomenal skills and is a phenomenal football player. Unfortunately, he's got Sam Darnold throwing him the ball. So that's why I do not think he'll be good for fantasy.
Okay. We're moving on from this one.
Yes.
Pats and Dolphins. Give us a laydown. Mac Jones viable?
Yeah. I mean, they always scheme pretty well. They do like to run the ball, but somehow Mac Jones always seems to get a few touchdowns per game.
I think Stevenson and Harris are both viable in this game too. Even if both of them play, I think you can play. If both of them play, I think they're both flex players. Harris is the more valuable one, but should he be out, I think Stevenson is going to have an insane game.
Oh yeah, if Harris is out, Stevenson will be fine. Yeah, like you said, running back too.
MJ23 says start Devontae Parker heavy. I don't think Devontae Parker is a bad play. Because the Patriots go by the adage of knocking out the number one weapon of your team, and that is Waddle. So I do not have a problem playing Devontae Parker this week. I think that is actually
he also got targeted like a ridiculous amount of times last week. It didn't come to anything, but you follow the targets in fantasy football.
MJ23, that is an excellent point.
Yeah.
I like that you brought that up. So what about Gesicki? You play Gesicki this week?
He's one of those tight ends you almost have to play just because I know he does some bad weeks, but he gets you those good weeks too.
What about Tua?
I feel like it's going to be a close game, and they're going to have to throw the ball to stay in it. They don't really have running backs, but
yeah, J.C. Jackson is going to shut down Waddle.
Yeah, probably. Isn't J.C. Jackson a rookie too?
No, he's not a rookie.
No?
No.
I feel like there was a JC that just came out in the draft. Maybe it's someone else.
It's not that Jackson.
But yeah, Gesicki, probably a fair play.
Any other players you're interested in this game? Obviously, we got to talk about Hunter Henry. Thoughts?
No, I don't like Hunter Henry.
Any of the wide receivers? Kendrick Bourne?
It's hard. They don't want to throw the ball.
No, they don't.
And if everything goes their way, they won't throw the ball.
Or they'll throw it all to the running backs.
Right.
Or
Or
all the tight ends
it
this
could be
week.
Jacoby Myers. It could be.
Oh, God.
They don't have that one big weapon. They have.
But with how scarce options are this week, you may have to play some of these guys.
Yeah.
So, all right. So who would you take in the wide receiving core, though? Who is your first and second option in the wide receiving core if you have to play these guys?
I think it's a tie between Jacoby Myers and Kendrick Bourne.
Jeez. Thanks for the non-answer. I think it's Kendrick Bourne.
I mean, it could be either one of them. I don't want to say one or the other.
That could be the apology bet.
No.
Oh,
We don't have to do an apology bet every video, Joe.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
In fact, actually, someone still owes this one that hasn't been on the podcast for a while. Did you write that apology bet yet?
I haven't wrote even JJ's apology bet.
All right, 49ers Rams. Give us a lowdown.
Well, 49ers are playing for their lives. I have no idea who's going to be the starter, but you're going to start George Kittle anyways. You're going to start Deebo Samuel anyways.
Ayuk.
I would be more happy starting Ayuk if Garoppolo was the starter.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if Trey Lance was a starter. I might try to fade Ayuk, but he also could.
I wouldn't fade him. He did pretty well with them last week. There's a connection there. I would not fade him.
Yeah,
I 100% disagree with you there.
The Rams, obviously, you're playing everybody. Sony Michel is still a fine play. I know
he's the bell cow, even with Akers back.
Yeah, Akers, like I said, is only going to get at tops 5 to 7 carries
until the playoffs.
I'm talking about this week. So Sony Michel will still be the guy. They're going to try to get Cooper Kupp the receiving record.
Yeah.
I think Odell Beckham is still a viable play.
Van Jefferson.
Big play guy.
Wide receiver 3 this week?
No. Flex option.
Okay. What about the 49ers players? Anyone else you'd like to talk about, or you've covered them all? What about the running backs?
Elijah Mitchell.
Should he play? Because he's also injured. You have to evaluate that.
Yeah, but he played last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I think his questionable designation is still from the previous injury. I don't think it's anything new. I think he's just still questionable, but he'll play.
Okay. So on to our last game then. We covered that pretty damn quick. I'm impressed with us. Chargers and Raiders. First off, give me the winner of this game. So who's going to make the playoffs out of these 2 games? And then the fantasy relevant players. Oh, God, I have to make a decision.
I want the Chargers to win.
Me too.
But I think the Raiders are going to win.
I think the Chargers will win.
The Chargers have this innate ability to fuck themselves over every freaking year.
Edward Davis says start Herbert. You start Herbert anyway. That's a given.
Yeah, you start Herbert. You're going to start Eckler if he plays. You start Keenan Allen. But, like, when it comes to the winner, I see this as a thing where the Chargers just come in and fall flat on their face because that's what the Chargers do. And then the Raiders make the playoffs.
In an ugly-ass game.
Yeah, like, it's not going to be nice. But you're going to start Josh Jacobs, obviously.
You're starting Austin Eckler, obviously.
Yeah. The Chargers go with the run funnel to where they allow the run and try to stop the pass. So I don't think I'd start if Waller plays, you start Waller.
He's going to play in this game. I would almost put money on that he's going to play in this game.
If Waller
right
plays, you're going to start Waller and Jacobs. Those would probably be the only 2 I would start for the Raiders.
You wouldn't start their possession beast at the wide receiver position?
Oh, Renfro?
Yeah, you would.
No, not with Waller back. No, not with Waller back.
I would play Renfro. I think he's become an important piece of this offense.
If you look at the numbers from Renfro, when Waller is there and Waller's not there, there is a steep decrease in Renfro's numbers.
Well, he's one of the only 3 viable options for that offense now. I understand what you're saying, but the stat line has changed because there's less options on that team now. I think he's still viable.
Nope. Zay Jones is who's going to take over that number one wide receiver's position.
Evers Davis chimes in from the Heckling fandom, says, at the beginning of the season, I would have picked the Chargers to win the Super Bowl as a wild card entry. I was here, dude, because I thought Justin Herbert was going to be the MVP of the league. And I picked him for MVP. And he's given us a great season, not the MVP season because there's Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady up there. But great season from him. And they could play wild card spoiler.
I still think Jonathan Taylor should get it. But
yeah, he's had an incredible season.
Yeah.
So as I stated, obviously Herbert, you can, I guess, play Mike Williams. He's your boom bust. Not comfortable with him, but never am. I'd rather play Zay Jones over him, honestly, which is surprising. I never thought I would say that. Obviously, you play Keenan Allen. I think I would fade on the tight end position for the Chargers. Austin Eckler. What about Justin Jackson? Is he viable as a flex?
That's a hard one because if Austin Eckler plays, they'll probably try to ride Austin Eckler a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But they could spell him a little bit.
Thank you for putting your clothes back on, Ron. The Heckling fandom appreciates that.
It's getting chilly. I just got done working out right before I got on here.
Oh, what do you know? Me too. But I do that on a daily basis.
I have this week.
Anything else you'd like to talk about the
Trying to get
Chargers
swollen in my old age,
Swollen. Doing some garbage time flexing.
Yeah, garbage time flexing football.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to talk about in this game or any other players before we get into our DFS lineups?
Nah, let's get right into the DFS lineups.
Hit that button. All right, Ron, you want me to do my DFS Draft Kings lineup, or do you need time to get yours together? So I'll do mine first.
You can do yours first. I think it's funny that the lightning effect that we have is one of the quietest drops that we have.
If you'd like me to increase the volume on it and make it ridiculous, I mean, I can.
I don't know if it needs to be ridiculous.
Well, I mean, you're not going to have to hear the screaming emoji after Monday for a while because we don't have game previews.
Oh my God, can you imagine? It's going to be wild. Like after week 1 next year, having to push that button, it's going to scare the shit right out of me.
I know.
I'll probably pee myself.
I'm really looking forward to it, to be honest. Yeah. So my DFS lineup for the week. I went a little middle ground with it this week, which usually I don't do. I like to go really big boom or bust, but I went with Russell Wilson at 6,300. Decent value. I'm chasing the points this week. Do not give a shit. I think he's going to have a very good game against Arizona. I think they're trying to prove a point that they're still good. Pete Carroll is rumored to be playing for his job in this game. I don't think they will fire him, but you don't want to try to lose and get fired. So
that's true.
Russell Wilson will be playing for him very well this week. Next, I've got Devin Singletary for 6,000 going up against the Jets. The Jets are the worst team in the NFL against the run. Pee Wee League defense. Last week was an oddity against Tampa. That will not happen again this week. I see them getting absolutely crushed in the running game. I think the secondary will be all right, but look for Devin Singletary to be a top 5 running back on the week. I honestly believe that. Next, I'm going with running back Sony Michel going up against the 49ers. He is the bell cow. The Rams are playing for something this week that is the win in their division. So I look for Sony Michel to have a very effective week at 6,000. Next, I'm playing the most expensive wide receiver in DFS, which is Cooper Kupp at 9,700 because he has been elite this season. Where the hell he came from, who knows? But 9,700 Cooper Kupp, how do you not play him? Next, I'm going with Amon-Ra St. Brown at 6,800, who I think is going to play very well against the Packers. Their number one corner is expected to be out in this game. I can never say his name. How the hell? Why can't I think of his name?
I don't know, because you're horrible with names.
Anyway, yes. Their number one corner is out of this game, who is a Pro Bowler. So I believe that Brown will get moved around the field. I believe the Lions will look to win this game. So you got to pass it to someone, and he's their number one.
Are you talking about Jair Alexander?
Yes, Jair Alexander is expected to be out of the game. And St. Brown, I believe, is going to be very effective in the game for that reason. He has been effective the last 3 weeks. He's coming on, so St. Brown is a good value, I believe, at 6,800. Next, I'm going with Marquez Callaway because I need to save a little bit of money at some of these spots. He's going up against Atlanta's secondary, who's also bad. So Marquez Callaway at 5,000, I think, is a decent value. Next, I'm going with tight end John Bates at 3,000 because the Washington football team has this propensity for some reason to play the tight end position very well. Henneke plays well with tight ends. He's the next man up now that Ricky Seals-Jones has gone down. So John Bates at 3,000 is a good value, I believe, at the tight end position this week. Next, I'm going with Cyril Grayson because I have no money left. 4,400, 2 touchdowns with the Bucs last week. Tom Brady's his quarterback. Could get in the end zone again this week. So Cyril Grayson because I've got no money. And my defense, JJ's going to love this. I'm going with the Bears. They had 27 points in DFS last week, and I'm chasing the points again. I'm sorry, 22 points, and I'm chasing the points again this week. Bears defense.
Oh, are they playing the Giants again?
No, they're not playing the Giants. They're playing the Vikings, but I'm still playing them anyway. So 2,700 Bears defense. Thoughts, Ron? Like the lineup?
It wasn't bad. Yeah. I like it better than I like my own lineup, if I'm being honest.
Give us your DFS lineup.
So at quarterback, I went pretty cheap. I am going with Davis Mills. The Titans' defense has not been phenomenal. Well, their pass defense has not been phenomenal.
Shit, championship week of DFS, you're playing Davis Mills.
Yeah, I got to make some moves, you know.
That's ballsy.
I
don't like that at all.
Well, I also had to make money because, I'm starting Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Yep. My other running back is going to be Jarrett Patterson for the Washington Reds. Wow.
Ooh,
Washington football team.
Holy shit. You almost
It's been a while.
You almost went Jeremy Sprinkle style.
I almost went Jeremy Sprinkles on that one.
And if you guys don't know, Jeremy Sprinkle, the DC Sprinkles was and basically in our first year of Garbage Type Fantasy Football, which at the time it was named How Seymour Sees It, but because Ron's not the ultimate host on this, we changed the name of it. Jeremy Sprinkles was a favorite name of ours, and they became the DC Sprinkles.
Yeah, it happened right about their name confusion. Another reason I've gone cheap at a lot of positions is because along with my 9,300 Jonathan Taylor, I went with the 9,700 Cooper Kupp.
So sandwich between Patterson is Coop and Taylor. That's expensive.
Yeah. Like I said, I do think they're going to try to get Cooper Kupp the record, which is, I think he's 140 something.
Yes, Edward Davis.
I didn't say it.
It was canceled.
I didn't see it. I didn't say it all. I stopped at red. Nobody knew what I was saying. It's fine.
You were going to get canceled, but How Seymour Sees It really got canceled.
I canceled How Seymour Sees It. It was an executive decision by the main person.
Yes, I'm sure it wasn't pressure from your other 3 hosts.
No, it wasn't. Okay, then I went really cheap for my next 2 wide receivers. I went Tyler Johnson with the Bucks and Antoine Wesley from the Cardinals.
You really are touchdown chasing.
He's actually been playing quite well in the stead of DeAndre Hopkins. He's been playing in the DeAndre Hopkins role. He's a big guy. I want to say he's something like 6'4". Mm-hmm. So Kyler Murray has been looking for him on deep, 50-50 balls.
Yeah.
I went back to the Arizona Cardinals passing game, and I took tight end Zach Ertz. Not a bad at a 5,300 price tag. I wanted someone that could give me a touchdown.
Okay. I think Ertz is a good play this week.
I am really low on money. So I went with the Titans Westbrook Akine.
Holy shit.
He's 4,100. I didn't have any money left. And then I went with the Cardinals defense.
This is a ballsy lineup. There's a lot of no names in that lineup.
Yeah, I
like my lineup a lot better than yours.
I wanted to go big. And again, that'll probably see. I work nights this weekend, so on Friday night.
Excuses for your awful lineup.
Or on Saturday night, I'll probably blow that whole lineup up. That's generally what I do when I work Saturday nights. When I get a little downtime, I'm just fucking around.
Besides your penny pinching wide receivers there, I think, like I said, I think you picked the wrong wide receiver for the Bucks. You went with Tyler Johnson. I really think Cyril Grayson is going to be the one that's going to be effective for them. So that's where I've got the issue with your lineup. I like that you went expensive.
Screw it.
Well, Well, you did hit the wrong drop for the apology bet, but that's okay. Now we have an apology.
I got it.
So for Edward Davis, who's been away for a few weeks, we came up with this newest segment called the apology bet. And you have to go back and listen to the other ones because the concept behind this is two hosts take opposing views on topic. And in this one, it'll be Tyler Johnson and the guy that I like, which is Surreal Grayson. And the one with the higher, are we going to do fantasy score this week?
Fantasy score, yep.
So higher fantasy score this week.
PPR.
The winner, all right, I'm fine with that. The higher fantasy score this week gets to write an apology for the loser, and the loser has to read it live on the air. Ron's only had to read one. I've had to read one. JJ's had to read three, I believe.
Well, he still has to read one for me, but
yeah,
I probably never get around to writing it.
So that it'll come up. So yes, and I'm more than happy to write another one for Ron. So look forward to him reading another one next week. But yeah, so we will do that for the apology bet. But not an awful lineup, Ron, but we now have an apology bet for next week. Is there anything else you'd like to go over for the heckling fandom? Maybe tell them about some of the things we're going to do in the offseason before we get out of here?
Oh, yeah, just one of our biggest segments. I think it's one of our funnest. We definitely have the most fun with it. It is the sabotage mock drafts we do. We started this last year before the real NFL draft where we did the entire first round. That was wild. And we went one show, we did 1 through 16, then we did 17 through 32, and we got 2 sabotages each show.
Yeah, it'll probably be 3 or 4 this year.
No, we're going to keep it at 2. We don't want to get too crazy. But, where you can literally sabotage someone's pick, and then we did it with the regular fantasy football mock drafts. We're going to do a Dynasty rookie sabotage mock draft this year. I want to try to work in a auction style sabotage mock draft.
I don't know how the hell that would work.
Yeah,
I'm
still working on that one. I'm trying to figure out. I got to play around with the computer part of it is the problem.
The idea, guys, behind the sabotage mock draft is a lot of the times your draft plan will get fucked up. On a whim, you'll come in with a plan that you don't get the players that you want, and this makes you think on your feet and adjust really quick. So we give you quick adjustments on our feet as to what we would be thinking in those situations. So should something like that come up in your leagues, you get to enjoy the agony that we go through making those picks, and they may help you with your picks.
And a lot of times Ryan is not very good at thinking on his feet, so we have to sit there and bust on him for 3 minutes while he's pivoting to a new pick, and it's great.
All right, Ron, where can you find this show?
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iTunes Radio. Oh, God damn it.
iTunes Radio, huh?
Iheartradio, Tunein Radio, every time. You can go to our website, www.garbagetimeff.com. You can find us on Twitter at @garbage_timeff. You can find us right here on YouTube at Garbage Time Fantasy Football. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can find us on Instagram at Garbage Time Fantasy Football. Oh, geez. Make sure when you're at Apple Podcasts, you go over there, you leave a 5-star review. Follow us everywhere. Also, make sure you go and check out our sister show, Garbage Time Presents the MMA Podcast. Hopefully, they'll start getting their shit together and making more videos more consistently. Hopefully, the off season is easier. Because I know JJ said he would do more with Ryan in the offseason. Yeah.
Also be on the lookout for our top 10 worst takes of the season video. JJ will have that out soon.
Yes.
I think with that, Ron, we're ready to get out of here, right?
I believe we are. Where's the end button?
I got that banner for you. We're good.
What, you think I was going to forget it?
Maybe.
I was. Spoiler alert.
Good night, guys.
All right, guys. Have a good one.